was gonna say that there's a donger in the background.
I'm gonna sneak it in though. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Voltron Watts YouTube channel. You know me, my name is Kyle. I'm joined today by Jacob Youngblood.
What's happening?
He's an OG from the Ride or Die ATX crew here in Austin, and we are here in the Ride or Die, what do we call this?
Workshop
Headquarters.
Where it all started.
Hell yeah, where it all started.
So many aerobics in here, so many activities.
Jacob is responsible for the fork kits that I shot a video of about a month ago or so. So Jacob does the fork kits. It's got the brake kits that are attached to it, and it's got the adapters for other fork.
Yep, comes with the Zoom adapter or a stock adapter. You get your choice, or just the full-blown CFR50 brakes.
Okay.
Comes with all the bushings and wheel bearings, everything you need just so it bolts on.
Cool. And I'll have Jacob's link in the description below. And today's episode is actually sponsored. This is the first ever for the Voltron Watts channel.
It's a big moment.
It's a big moment. We're sponsored by a gentleman named Andrew Buchanan. You can find him on the Facebooks. So he's a 16-year upholster. He sent us some seat covers for our razors. We're gonna go ahead and put those on for you guys, show you the tear down process. Some of the things that Andrew does is he does automotive upholstery, he does boats, he does hats, he does, did I say interior?
Not yet.
Interior. Did I say boats?
You said boats.
Did I say hose?
Not hose.
Boats and hose. And you can find Andrew on Facebook at Bolts and Volts. I'm going to have his link in the description below too.
I think it's bolts and bolts.
Are you sure?
But
Bolts and Volts or
you'll
Bolts
find
and Volts?
it.
I don't know. It'll be in the link.
It'll be in the link.
All right. He's a good dude. 16 years experience. Does this stuff all the time. He does it for a living. Sent this stuff to us to shoot this video. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Send it, bud.
Let's do this. So here is a razor seat we got. This is the cheapest bike we ever bought, 25 bucks.
$25, no holla.
At a Bastrop, Texas. Guy pretended he didn't know what was wrong with it, but it was a $25 bike, so I was gonna buy it anyway. We get it back, and the rear swing arm was bent, like smashed, like a 400-pound Bubba tried to jump a giant dirt pile. That's how I pictured it in my head, because this was beyond the roads. It was a dirt road you had to drive on for a while to get back there, and it was quite a deliverance style. So what we're doing here is we're taking all the staples out. This is gonna give us room to put new staples in, and what you gotta sort of watch for, a stapling tip, is you don't want to puncture back through this direction. This is only about a 1/4 of an inch on this edge, and it gets thicker fast. So I think the staples I have are 3/8 of an inch.
So staples are specific too sometimes.
Yeah, you don't want big long ones. Okay. I didn't buy staples for this, but I had some, and I've done a bunch of seats with them, so they work just fine. It stretches real nice.
Yeah, I think and you don't always have to take the cover off, do you?
No, I've done it once where I took the cover off. This is the number 2. The other ones I've done, I just went over the top on the other ones.
Yeah.
The steps break down. We're gonna take this leather off. We're gonna see what the condition of the foam is under it. Mm-hmm. Some people don't like how the amount of foam on here. So there's an opportunity to add more foam if you'd like. If you're getting a seat cover from Andrew, make sure you tell him that so that he can leave the extra fabric on there, because you're gonna need it to cover if you add it.
Yep.
And the foam's pretty easy to get too. It's, I think the fabric store here is Joann Fabrics.
Yep.
There's, I'm sure there's a million of them everywhere. They'll have foam. They'll have all the marine leather you need. So a couple of guys have alligator, like faux alligator leather.
Oh yeah. I'll include a couple pictures of that. I think Midnight Mike's got that on his bike.
Yeah. You can see on Andrew's design, he left some cuts in here, which makes it a whole lot easier
to make those corners look good.
It just gets bunched up, and it makes it a little tougher.
Man, you're so strong.
Ooh, there we go. There's what the sun does to leather.
Yeah, red especially, right?
Yeah.
Kills red.
We'll have to hang this up on the ceiling. and our leather off. So
hell yeah.
Time to put it back on. Step one, we're gonna spray all of this with glue.
Cool.
I like, and I learned this in college.
Yep. What you got?
Degree in advertising. Super 77. This stuff won't quit.
All right.
So you don't want to get it on anything.
Don't get it on your hands.
It's good. It sucks.
Okay.
You'll have it on your hand the rest of the weekend.
So you mark the middle?
I'm going to. It might be a extra step that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but when you're working with embroidered, you don't want one side to be
right. I only got one shot at this.
Right.
You know, what's that the M&M thing? Because we want to get this looking good, right? We can't be off center. I think I'm going to do this half at a time.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of making sure I got about an inch on either side. This feels all right. Let me cheat this way just a little bit. Okay. And then it's sticking close to the middle. So I'm gonna hold my lip. We just lined up. Right. This stuff also will get you very, very high.
Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
We're starting inside out, right? So we want to start in the middle because this is where you'll pick up creases and you'll be fighting them the rest of the day if you don't solve this problem right now. So I'm only gonna push this part on, check in my center. I like it, it's decent. I'm gonna cheat it a little bit. It's our last sort of shot to cheat it. So
And we know we gotta stretch it.
yeah, so we're gonna have to. This back part looks awesome. So that's what I was worried about most. This other stuff we can kind of cheat a little bit. Back, Super 77. You could probably spray that too. It's not gonna hurt, not gonna overglue it. Once it's stapled,
It's on there.
I'm telling you, the Super 77 doesn't give up. So. Really, everything else is kind of working from the back. So we're gonna work this to the edge. And it's just a simple hand staple gun. With some tiny staples. Yep, 3/8 inch.
Let's see the staples.
Cool. 10 millimeter. Nothing crazy. Probably hang Christmas lights with them if you're into that. But I did learn once as a kid, unplug the Christmas lights before you staple them. I was stapling and all of a sudden like, oh, I should probably unplug these. The whole key is just kind of pulling this tight. You don't want to overdo it, but you want it nice and smooth, right? So you kind of get your fingers in there and then try to get as deep of a staple as you can, and it won't stick out the top and poke you in the butt when you're 4 feet in the air.
Or ruin your custom made seat cover.
Or ruin your awesome custom made. So I'm gonna space these out to try to get a general cut or a general staple in there. And then I'll go back later once I'm kind of happy with all of it and fill it in.
Cool.
So here on the corner, that's always the tricky part, right? We need that nice and rounded. So it's kind of, the more the merrier. I used to try to like cut little straps and stuff to make it fit, but it just doesn't get this edge right and you tend to start fraying.
Then you just runs up into your leather.
Yeah,
Into your seats.
so I think if you just be patient and go a little bit at a time, kind of fold it over and then pull it in. We got a nice edge right there.
Yeah.
And we're not pulling anything too tight, and we don't have too much of a bunch right here, so it still sits flat.
Yeah, it looks great.
Right? I mean, that looks like I've done this before.
Looks factory.
Like once you have your line of staples, we could cut this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. You
Right?
don't
That's
need
what they
anything
did.
more,
Right? But we don't really have to for this.
They probably just staple it and, like you said, cut it after the
Yeah,
fact.
exactly. I always cut away from you. I like what I'm doing. There we go. And ride or die seat.
Boom.
Ready to go.
All right, everybody. So that concludes the seat install. Now, one thing I do want to mention is the seat cover install is not specific to razors. Like you could do this on motorcycles, four-wheelers,
Scooters.
You did it on a pool table.
Yeah, works for pool tables. I've done ottomans. Buy fabric, put it right over it.
So YouTube University. You come up here, you learn something. Hope you learned something today. I do want to shout out to Andrew for providing these seat covers for us. Thank you for that.
Stuff.
Look him up on the Facebook, Volts and Volts. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. I appreciate y'all very much. Jacob.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to what Ride or Die Research and Development's got going. We got some cool stuff coming. We got rotors. We've got battery trays, 3D printed battery trays. All sorts of cool shocks, different ways to do shocks, things like that. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff brewing.
Heck yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Bye.
Right on. Cool. That's good.